Now, before we start this video talking about the world champions, I gotta say this. See this hat? You see this team? They're down 0-2. But I want everybody to know in the world that 0-2 ain't done. We can come back from 0-2 because we're at home, we're in Philly, and we're gonna take him out. You know what I'm saying? We've got the firepower. You know what I mean? Firepower. Come on. Come on. What the hell is going on here? Oh. The safety was off. See that? Brett Brown, you gotta take the safety off. You gotta take the safety off people like Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and then it's gonna be like this. Boom. The Sixers are coming with Joel Embiid. Boom. Then over to Ben Simmons. Then to Joel Embiid. Then to Sarge. Ben Simmons gonna do this. Then you're gonna do this. Then you're gonna boom. And then Embiid. And then Sarge. And then it's over. The Sixers win. They come back from 0-2. And guess what? The Sixers are back in this series. Now, don't forget, I will be streaming the whole game tomorrow live, the whole thing. Oh, yeah. And if you're nervous about the game, King Dingbat's got you covered. Oh, yeah. King Dingbat's got you covered. Maybe you need a little tingle, a little noise, maybe a little scratch. Maybe you want to sound some more. But it's ice, so you can't hear. But don't worry. Because King Dingbat's gonna relax you. Now back to the video. Money, we're gonna shit. Oh. Yo, everybody, how you doing? King Dingbat here. So picture this, right? You're sitting around, you're hanging out with some friends, you're hanging out, having a few drinks, having a few beers, maybe you're watching Sports Theory, I don't know. But you're talking to people and you're talking about the 2016 quarterback class that came out, right? And you're comparing which quarterbacks you like, and you're putting up statistics for statistics. Now you start talking about other young quarterbacks around the league. You're talking about Jameis Winston. You're talking about Marcus Mariota. You know, of course, you're talking about Goff. You're talking about Prescott. You're talking about Carson Wentz. You're talking about all these guys. And you say to them, well, Carson Wentz has one championship. Those guys have nothing. And their responses to you is this. No, Carson doesn't really have a championship. Nick Foles has the championship. How do you feel when you hear that? What are your thoughts? Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard this, have talked about this, have debated, and you may even think totally different on this subject than me. But there is a real legitimate debate and question. What and how much credit does Carson Wentz deserve for the Eagles winning a Super Bowl? A lot of people feel that he doesn't deserve winning a Super Bowl ring. He doesn't deserve to be considered a Super Bowl champion quarterback or a championship quarterback. You know, they feel that you can't say he has a title when he didn't play in the Super Bowl himself. They say, look at Steve Young. Steve Young won Super Bowls behind Joe Montana, but he didn't feel like he really won one until he went out and beat San Diego in the Super Bowl. So it's an interesting question, and I can see both perspectives. You know, I definitely can. And my feeling is this. Carson Wentz, you can't deny what he did during the regular season. You can't deny he had an MVP season. He deserved the MVP as far as I'm concerned. He got hurt, and at the very least, we can agree that he was leading the MVP voting at the time he got hurt. Okay? The game in which he got hurt, he threw 4 touchdowns, 1 on a torn ACL, and the Eagles defense wasn't playing that good in that game, and Carson was the reason we were in it, and we were winning. And this was a playoff type game because it was for the division. You know, you can also say, and this is fact, that Carson Wentz had the second best year for a second-year quarterback in the history of the NFL. Only Dan Marino has had better in his second year as a quarterback. Carson, I've never seen somebody in their second year, a quarterback, play like him, except for Dan Marino. Okay? So Carson had an impact on this team. He wasn't the only, he wasn't just a backup quarterback sitting there and then getting a ring. He really changed the whole way that this team feels. He made players believe in themselves. He made people better than they had been in the past. I think Carson deserves a lot of credit. But at the end of the day, people aren't going to give it to him. Not until he wins a Super Bowl championship himself, as far as him playing in the game. And when I say he doesn't have a ring or he's not a champion, I'm specifically talking about playing in the playoffs, playing in the Super Bowl, and it counting as him leading a team to win a title. Now, like I said, I think you have to give him credit. I personally see it this way. People are not going to give Carson Wentz credit for winning a Super Bowl, okay? But when he wins one, right? Like if he wins next year, he wins in 2 years. When he wins one, everybody will all of a sudden say, he doesn't have one title, he has 2 titles. So basically, winning one title, or the next time he can win a Super Bowl with himself playing in it and being healthy, then people will give him credit for that first one, and then he's going to have 2 titles. And I really think that. I don't think you can discount what he did for this team during the regular year. It's not the same. It's not the same as a backup quarterback sitting the whole year on the bench. Okay, they wouldn't even be in the position if it wasn't for Carson. And I believe wholeheartedly, if Carson's healthy, they would still win the Super Bowl. They would have maybe won it easier, But people aren't going to give him the due credit until he actually plays in the Super Bowl. And that's just the way it is. And I can deal with that, and I think Carson can deal with it, and I think it motivates him, and it makes him hungry. And if he's hungry, and Frank's hungry, and we're all hungry, that's how you win another title. So I'm okay with it. But for those that think he doesn't deserve any credit, and he hasn't, it doesn't count that he won a Super Bowl, you can't say, oh, well, he's won one, and Prescott and Goff haven't. People that think like that, if they think like that, when he wins just one, then they have to give him credit for both, because he had an impact on this year's Super Bowl ring. So it's an interesting debate. I want to know what you think. Does Carson Wentz deserve credit as winning a Super Bowl championship or winning a title this year? Is he a championship quarterback? Is basically what it boils down to. No, he didn't play in the playoffs. No, he didn't play in the Super Bowl. But yes, he did everything to get them to that point. Does this go in his category as winning a title, being a championship quarterback, compared to the other guys that have never won one either? I'd like to know what you're thinking on it. Tell me your thoughts. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. And don't be a dingbat.